Picking out a scan tool nowadays is a very tough task. You've got some very large ones, screen sizes vary, speed, but then you have something like this, a Kingbolen Soloscan. This is a Bluetooth dongle, connects straight to your OBD2 port, and then you use your phone. In my case, we're gonna be using an iPhone. We've got free lifetime updates. In my case, I have the GM only one. That's gonna save you a couple bucks when you're shopping. If you have just GM vehicles, this is probably the way to go for you. There is another option for just Toyota, I believe I saw, but then there's another option where you can have all makes and models. And like I said, this is free lifetime updates. So you don't have to pay subscription fees like you do on these larger scan tools. This is just an all-in-one, and this is going to do a lot of bidirectional controls that you'll find on the much larger scan tools that I have shown in the back there. This little guy is just a little code reader. That's useless when you're really wanting to diagnose anything. So this is actually smaller. I believe the price point's under 100 bucks for these. And we're gonna go ahead and plug this into my 24 Silverado 1500 ZR2. And then we're gonna use the iPhone, and we're gonna take a look inside there and see what we can really see and control. Let's get into it. We got a little something special going on with this video. Now, during the dates of 4/12/2025 until 4/19 of 2025, and this ends at 12:01 p.m., we're actually doing a giveaway where we get to give away one of these Kingbolen Soloscan units. Now, this is for the all makes and models one. So this is available for anyone in the USA. Kingbolen is actually going to ship this out to you, to the winner of this. Now, let me tell you how you can enter. You enter by commenting. You just have to comment on this video. But what I need you to do is put on there DemonWorks giveaway. Anyone that posts that on there between the dates of 4/12/2025 and 4/19/2025 ends at 12:01 p.m. on 4/19/2025. DemonWorks giveaway. And what is going to happen is after this closes, I'm going to go ahead and all those comments, I'm going to put a number with a reply on there, and then that's going to be your number for a drawing with which I'm going to draw one random number, again, on 4/19/2025. You don't have to be a subscriber. You don't have to do anything outside of just comment on this. So hopefully this helps somebody get one of these in their hands. And again, this is for USA residents only. Sorry, not my rules, but just the way that it is for this giveaway. All right, let's go ahead and just plug this into the OBD2 port right here underneath. Very easy access. Now, it does come with this little case, super nice and handy. What I'm gonna do with this is just leave this in my truck, so that way I always have it. You don't have to worry about charging the dongle, none of that. Now, I will say that this also works with Android, but I tried to do it with my Android tablet here, and I was attempting to download the app, and it wasn't able to do it. So we're going to use this on my Apple iPhone, and we'll go ahead and turn this truck on. There we go, let's see what we got. All right, we are in the app right now, and it does not currently support my 24 Silverado. So what we're going to do is a workaround. Now, obviously, this app is just going to need an update, and I can just go around that and go with the 23 model. You can see the different options. You could do this with all of the GM vehicles, but we're going to do Silverado. We've got the D. If I do the health report, that's going to do a full system scan, and that will scan every single module and find all the fault codes, whether they're pending, they're current, or if they're just in the history. So it's going to create a whole list, and we're going to get to see every single thing. Now, I've got a P0402 that's been in the background since new with this truck, basically. And I've done all the calibration updates and everything through GM, and it has not resolved it. So it hasn't set a check engine light, but it's always pending. So we've got a bit of an EGR issue to contend with. But we're going to ignore that, and I'm just kind of just stalling while it goes through this process of scanning all of the data here. And just like that, we are blasted through. Now we can do a fault report, and that's going to tell us all of our information that we need. And there's the P0402, like I told you before. A couple other miscellaneous ones that I'm really not concerned about because it's not showing any issues with me. Now let's go into system selection. And a lot of people ask about the brake system whenever I do the scan tool. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into this right now. That way we can see it. But we can go into Actuation test, and we can activate the rear park brake service position. Then you can deactivate it. That's one of the common questions, as well as you can go into special functions. And down here we have front axle brake pad life monitoring reset, rear axle brake pad life monitoring reset. So hopefully that answers those questions with the brake module. Next up, let's go into the transmission control module. And as you see, there's only 8 speed options on there. So this needs to be updated to where that we can get our 10-speed options, but for now, this app is not going to let us do anything with the transmission control module. And I also want to point out the body control module. When we go in here and I attempt special functions, or actuation test, when I go into just mirror folding, again, I was unable to get these to fold the mirrors. So we're going to chalk this up as the BCM and the transmission control module we cannot do anything with. The brake system control module we were okay with. We're going to go ahead and go into the engine control module now, and you can see the option for the LZ0, so we'll go into that. Now we can read the data stream, and that's going to give us a lot of options right here. But one main thing that a lot of people probably want to look into, because there's going to be after treatment system issues, but let's just select all and we can confirm. And now we can go ahead and look at, obviously we've got EGT sensors. That's good to know. That was, all right, so it doesn't scroll, it just goes to page to page to page. You can see startup exhaust gas temperature sensor for 1, 2, and 3. Now, I drove the truck into the garage, so these numbers are going to be off. But this is a very important arrangement of sensors right there. So this information, if you were to cold start the truck and then go look at this at what your temperatures were, if these were scattered like that, then that's going to tell you there's a problem with the sensors, because at cold startup, they should all read the same. Now, like I said, I drove the truck into the garage, so my temperatures at startup were different because I drove it in the garage, shut it off, and then I started this video. So we're going to go ahead and just scroll through, and we can see just different data coming in through here. Number of completed particulate filter regen, 68. So we're at 24,852. So you can go ahead and do the math on that and see how many we get. But average distance between regens, 39 miles. That's incorrect. Definitely not going to be working with that. But let's see what else we got in here. We got the baro sensor sitting at 12. Remaining fuel in tank, 21.6. That's accurate. And I like how quickly this is fluctuating, because that tells me that it is responsive, which is something that you want. You want quick response. So now that we've seen some of the data inside here, let's go ahead and head back out and see what we can do on the actuation side of things. So auxiliary coolant pump, charge air coolant pump, or charge air cooler coolant pump. That's a good one. I like to, whenever I service the cooling system on the charge air coolant side, this works well. I have actually used this. I'm not going to use it on my truck right now because it's running, but you can increase and decrease, and it will get the fluid flowing, so that way you can purge all the air out of the system. Let's see what else we got. There's a lot of options in here, but I can increase this and watch it desired and compare it to the desired versus commanded, and then that'll tell me, you know, because remember the P0402 code that we had stored in there, and that would allow us to check that. And if it varies from actual versus desired, then that's going to tell us that we have an issue there. And you can do it with EGR valve 1 and 2. So let's scroll through, and glow plugs, let's check those out. Now I am in control functions, so let's see. All right, well, the truck is on, so we really can't do anything with that, but condition not satisfied, and I'm not going to shut this off. So cooling fan, again, I did this on a different vehicle while testing at work, and I ran the cooling fans to see if they were operating, and I can hear them buzz. So that is a cool feature. I like that. Let's go back, and we're going to go ahead and go into, where were we? Were we on actuation tests? Let's go special functions. There we go. Injector flow rate programming. If you were to replace one of the fuel injectors, they have a code on them, and you have to program that into there. Learn and engine coolant control valve learn. We have a lot of issues with the coolant control valves, and whenever you replace it, it's best to relearn it, and boom, we've got this here. Now, I did use this app for a Tahoe that I actually did a coolant control valve on, so that does work as well. Let's go into reset. This is a big one. I think this is really good, because whenever you do a fuel injector or any kind of fuel system repair, or even if you just need to wipe the whole information on the fuel injection, the small quantity data reset, this is a really good one to reset. I don't recommend everybody just go out there and reset that, but if you put in a new injector or all 6 new injectors, you're going to want to reset that. Now, you can go into, I want to show the belt. Let's see here. The engine oil pump belt reset. I guess we'll just get to that later because I'm not seeing it right away. But we got NOx sensor reset. So now if you replace any one of the NOx sensors, you can go ahead and go in there and reset it, which we're not going to do because I'm not messing with any of the emission stuff on here. But we got reductant system data reset. Again, you only do these resets if you do a full repair of that system. So let's go ahead and back out of here and see what else we can do. Obviously, read and clear codes. Now, we saw that we had a code earlier. And now this one is pending. Now let's click the question mark on there and see what it tells us. It's going to do a Google search for us. That's pretty cool. I'm real curious on this. I have not done this, so this is, wow. All right, so that saves you a little bit of time right there. You know, Silverado error P0402. And yeah, it's pretty neat. That's not bad at all. All right, so to get out of this, it looks like we just hit that X and we are closing. That's pretty cool. I think that's neat. That's going to save some people. Obviously, if you don't know the codes, and you can look it up like that, and that'll tell you some information. Hopefully, it pulls up DuramaxNews.com where there's a bunch of diagnosis information on there, or even the DemonWorks YouTube channel. But as you can see, this scan tool or phone app is it's a pretty powerful unit. Now, it's not going to do everything, as we saw. I showed the transmission control module, body control module. So it's got its pros and it's got its cons, but the pros definitely outweigh because this thing is under $100 for this. And with all the stuff that you could do, this is super nice. You don't have to worry about charging it up, keeping it maintained. All the basic stuff is right here at your fingertips. You always have your phone with you and it's always charged up, hopefully. And if you have that Bluetooth dongle stored in your truck, you're actually able to just grab this if you get a code. And what that does is you can pull up the code, you can read some data. If you go on to ask for some more information from other people, you're able to provide them with that data. So hopefully you found this handy. And yeah, until next time, see ya.